Alright, this will be a set of a few videos. What we're going to be doing is replacing the motor mounts on this is a 2015 Trailhawk Jeep Renegade. I bought it in 2016 with 7,000 miles on it, and it's currently got, if I can get in there and show you, almost 215,000 miles. It's got quite a few miles on it, but it's paid off, and cosmetically it's in great shape. Plus I love the car, so what I'm going to do is try and keep it going as long as I can, which means I need to replace some motor mounts that are worn out. They're notorious for going bad on these cars anyway. Plus this one's got 200,000 miles on it, so they're definitely worn out. And then we'll do some other videos because I'm going to put new axles on it, and some other things to keep it going. We'll post that all for you. This job, there's a few different motor mounts, and we're going to replace them all. So there's probably going to be a few different videos. If you're watching one that doesn't correspond with the mount that you need to replace, just check. There should be a video for the mount that you're going to do on there. One of the things that you'll need is an E-bolt to replace these motor mounts, and I'll put a link down in the description to buy those. They're not expensive, or rather an E-bolt socket, because of course the Jeep puts some strange bolt heads on these things, I assume to discourage anybody from working on their own car, but not a big deal. We'll get past that. I think that this is a job, if you have some mechanical experience, you can do. It may not be the thing to do if you've never turned a wrench before in your life without somebody who has to help you, but it's not too complicated. You do want to be careful. You could hurt yourself, you could cause damage to the car, but it's doable. We'll also put a link to the motor mounts down in the description, and I'm going to show you right now. Like I said, the motor mounts are notorious on going bad for this car, and I'm going to show you right now what some of the symptoms are. So we're in park right now, and one of the things it's been doing, the primary symptom is the motor will lurch and make some noise when I put it in gear when I'm stopped. Some of the noise and shifting gear in this car is just the 9-speed transmission, which is not that great, but some of it is definitely that these mounts need replaced. So you'll hear that. And the other thing is, if I'm in gear, stopped at a stoplight or something, it's absolutely shaking me to death, and that's the motor mounts being bad. So I'm going to put it in gear right now and see if you can tell the difference. So you probably can't see me shaking, but hopefully you can hear that there's a lot of shaking going on in this car. I'm gonna go, that's drive, I'm gonna go reverse. You hear that? And then the vibrating starts. And then we go to park and it stops. So that's what we're hoping to fix today. It's gonna save us a few $100 that we're gonna get to spend on something else cool other than fixing our car. So if it helps you do the same, that's awesome. Like I said, if you're gonna buy the parts to do this, please use the link in the description. It's the parts I use. They work great. Plus we get a very small percentage of the purchase, which does not affect your price. It comes out of the seller's price for linking you to it, which helps us make more videos like this. We're gonna show you. So here's one of the motor mounts we're going to be replacing, the silver thing down in here. There's another one under there you can't quite see, and we're going to show you what the motor does. One of the things that'll cue you that you need to replace these. Go ahead and start it up and put it in drive. Watch the motor. The whole motor moves. Okay, go to park and watch it, see how it's vibrating. Now go to reverse. Okay, you can put it in park and turn it off. So you can see that the whole motor moves and then shakes when you put it in gear. So we should be fixing that momentarily. Okay, first thing we have to do is take off the skid plate under the car. The only reason that's necessary for this work is that we have to put a jack to support the engine, because we're going to be removing one of the motor mounts. Only one at a time, of course. Skid plate's under here, and I'll show you more about it here in a second. It's not necessary to the car's operation. It's great for four-wheeling to keep rocks and things from going up and hitting the bottom of your engine. Pain in the butt with oil changes. And because we're going to be doing a few different motor mounts over a few different days and changing the axles, I'm gonna take it off today. I'm gonna leave it off till all that work's done. So that's one less thing I'll have to do for the other parts. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Okay, we're under the car to show you the skid plate. I was going to show you how to take it off and what size bolts you need, but I don't think that's going to do much good, because the last guys that did oil change for me here in town didn't put the bolts back in. They only put a couple, and it looks like they put the wrong ones. And I know it was them because the guys who were doing my oil change before did the same thing. And not long ago, I went and got all new bolts for it and put all new bolts and washers on it. And then I took it to these guys to get the oil changed and left, and it was rattling. And I took it back and said, hey guys, you didn't put all the bolts back in. They got it tight, but this is the first time I've looked at it. There should be a bolt here. There is one here, and there is one here. There should be one here. There should also be one here. There should be one here, here, here. There is one here. There should be one here. There is one here. There should be one there. There should be one down there and one right there. There's one here, but it's the wrong bolt. Honestly, I think pretty much all these look wrong. They're not the new ones that I put in. So I won't be going back to that place, and it just kind of underlines the point I was making about you're better off just doing the stuff you can yourself if you can, because now I'm gonna have to go back and buy all new bolts for this again, and it's gonna be even harder because I don't know what sizes I'll need, because I don't have examples to take with me since they didn't put any of them back on. Anyway, that's another story. So all I have to do is unbolt this, and this one over here. There's only 5 bolts holding this frame on for me now, and there should be a dozen or so. All right, I'll get that done and get back to you. All right, we got the skid plate off, which is right here. And like I said, it's not necessary, so I'm going to leave it off till I've finished all the work I'm going to do under there, which might be a week or two. But you can see it does some jobs. I got some rock marks, some skid marks from going over rocks and branches and stuff on it for sure. So it's good to have. It's made a little bit easier to take out by the fact that most of the bolts were missing. Like I said, nobody's ever going to give as much of a crap about your car as you are, unfortunately. So we've got like a very small bag of mismatched bolts. I'm going to set that aside. We'll get on to the next part. I took it down off the ramp so I can more easily reach what's in the hood, and we don't need it on the ramp to do this job. All right, if you joined us for the other two, today we're going to be doing the lower motor / transmission mount on this 2015 Renegade. I already did the upper passenger side and the upper driver's side. For my particular car, I think the worst 2 culprits were the ones we're going to replace today, the lower and the passenger side, but they all needed it, and it may be different for you. This is the guy we'll be putting in today. Probably should have started with doing this one. I think it's one of the worst ones as far as offenders for vibrating in the car. I'm hoping it'll be one of the easier ones to put in, but I probably shouldn't even said that because I'm sure it will prove to be very difficult somehow. Anyway, we're set up to go. You can see we've already got the Jeep up on ramps, and I've already got a jack supporting the transmission on this side, which is where it bolts into. So now I just got to get under the car with my tools and see if it's going to come out with too much difficulty. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so here we are under the car. We've got jack under the transmission. We need to take out this bolt, which this is the old motor mount here, and we need to take out this bolt that holds it to the transmission, and this bolt here. I would like to have replaced this bracket too, but I can only find it from Dodge for a ridiculous price. So if it looks like it's okay, I'm hoping it does, and it does from this side, we're going to keep that. I'm also hoping I don't have to take it out because it'll just be one more thing to remove and put back. Although, I don't know if we'll be able to get this bracket out without removing it. So, we shall see. The other problem I'm having is I don't have the right size E-sockets for these 2 bolts. They're 16s. So I'm just going to try and do it with, break them off with a 16mm wrench and a pipe for leverage, and we'll see what happens from there. I'll get back to you. Okay, I know it's probably hard to see under here, but we got the old one out. There she is, and she's definitely in bad shape, though not as bad as I thought. I figured all that rubber would be gone, but either way, it had to go. We did not end up having to take off this bracket, which was good. Like I said, I didn't have the correct size E-socket. I ended up just using a 16mm socket, and I had no problems. I didn't strip the heads, although, you know, I think it would be possible to do so if you weren't careful. Some tips and pointers if you're doing this. Some prior mechanic already removed this bracket for me and didn't put it back on, so I didn't have to take that off. But there's another just like it right over here that I had to just take the screws out of so that I could move this out of the way to undo this bolt. The other thing is, when I looked online on how to do this, a lot of folks said you had to take off this bracket to get the engine mount, transmission mount out. You don't. Once you take out this bolt, you can push it back into the frame well, turn it sideways so that it's not looped around this, but rather sticking out over here, and then pull this exhaust to the side and pull it out right here. So that's what I did. I'm going to put the new one in just the same way, work it back around. We're going to put the bolt in and put everything together. I think this bracket's probably bad too. Probably should have just spent the money to get another one while I was in here, but I didn't, and I got to put it back together now. So we're gonna, yeah, it's pretty loose. We're gonna see how it does without replacing that, but I have a feeling we may have to come back in here and replace that too. All right, so now I'm gonna stick the new one in, bolt it in here and here, and and then I'll just have to put these bolts back in for the exhaust bracket, and that should be it. We'll let you know how it goes. Well, there she is, all buttoned up. Put on there, put back the engine mount bracket. Still missing this one. I'll have to order one. If, I don't know, who knows how long it's been gone. Maybe I won't even mess with it. So I just got to let her down off the jack and pick up the tools and try her out. Let you see how it works. All right, here we done. Here we are, moment of truth. So let's start her up. Put her in gear and see how she shakes. Let's drive, and it's a lot better than it used to be, but there's still some shake there. I feel like probably more than there should be, although maybe that's just what's natural for this car. But I'm thinking that bracket on the transmission that I didn't want to replace because it was over $100 for a stupid little piece of aluminum. I'll probably need to get in there and replace that, because I think that's allowing more shaking than there should be. Really no shaking in reverse though, and that's a big change. Engine still bounces around a little bit when you shift, but nowhere near as bad as it was. All right. Well, I hope that helped you. I'll put the links for the parts in the description. And good luck. We'll see you on the next one.